And we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to start sharing out because I am all by myself. Good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are, everyone. I'm just going to be sharing out. As I was meant to be joined by a guest. But unfortunately, the guest can't make it tonight. So I'm all by myself, as you can see, folks. So I'm just going to do a general chit chat and explain about the show. If you can hear me, if you could put a comment in the chat, that would be brilliant. So that I know that I'm not talking to myself. um, but yeah, guys, I hope everybody's well. Happy Sunday. I know. Hi, Julianne. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Um, hey, Kelly. How you doing? So yeah, folks. So I was meant to have a guest, and she couldn't unfortunately make it. So what I've decided to do is just have a general chit chat and say about um the show, what it does, and what it's going to be all about, guys. Sorry, I'm just sharing out. I will be 2 minutes with these. How is everybody? Why is everybody up so late? Usually it's me that's up so late. Um, so yeah, Kelly, I'm up late just because of the show, and the time that I've decided to do it. I've decided to do it because the YouTube algorithms and because of what I'll be speaking about, we obviously being crime. Where I was doing it, where I was doing it at 9 o'clock at night UK time, it wasn't really suitable because obviously it's going out to different countries. It's going out to America, Canada, and all across the world. And when we're talking about crime, I've got to watch what we're saying, and because of obviously the way that YouTube sees it. As I said, guys, the crime show is going to be pretty much talking graphical. It will be very, very graphical. Some of the subjects some viewers might find upsetting. I will obviously be very, very respectful when I'm doing crime show, and talking about subjects, and I will obviously I will treat it with respect. Um, so what got me into crime was when I was younger, and my gran and my papa used to sit and watch crime shows. Now there was an old crime show back in the 90s called Taggart. It was Glasgow based, and from there that piqued my interest in criminology. I then watched other shows. It was like Crime Watch. For people that don't know what Crime Watch is, it's basically like America's Most Wanted, where they do reconstructions, where they'll talk about different subjects, where they'll look at cold cases, they'll look at, you know, recent cases, things like that. So that even got me even further into criminology. Um, and as I've got older, I have been interested in serial killers, true crime, cold cases, things like that. So then I have done criminology myself. I've studied this at college. I've really, really loved it. I love how their mind works. Um, if I had to say, if I had a favourite one, now I know people hate the word favourite, I know a lot of people really hate the word favourite. Um, but when you're so fascinated with like how their mind works, how they get away with it for so long, um, cases that have never been solved, like Jack the Ripper, the Zodiac Killer. There's a lot of cases out there that you think, oh my god, how was that not solved? Um, I'll get the comments. I'm okay, good. You can't sleep, honey. That's the world's worst when you can't sleep. I know the feeling. Oh, is it 10 p.m.? Where are you from, Julianne? Um, okay. Hi, Robert. Thanks for joining us. Um, Julianne says, you're a youngster. I started watching Scooby Doo in the 70s. Do you know what? I am a big fan of Scooby Doo. I really like Scooby Doo. I've just turned 36 actually. My birthday's today. And I know I'm nuts for being up at this time to do a podcast. Um, but yeah, Scooby Doo. I never actually thought of Scooby Doo that way. Um, but yeah, so when I look at like some of the serial killers, I just think to myself, like, how did you get away for so long? Kidding aside, love crime shows. I'm in California. Oh, California! Oh, wow. Crime shows are brilliant, Julianne. There is loads of them. Like you could go on Amazon Prime, you could go on Netflix, you can go on YouTube. There's so many um crime shows out there. The one that I would suggest watching that I watch religiously and I really do like it is on YouTube. It's called Criminally Listed. Um, and it's really good. It does all different kinds, and it's very descriptive as well. I was doing a crime show and then I kind of slid away from it for a while because obviously timing. And I really did miss doing crime shows and talking about crime because I'm quite fascinated and quite passionate about where about crime, and I can speak about it all day till it comes out my ears. Um, and it's one of those ones where it's people get interested, really interested. Let's face it, we're all interested in some sort of crime. Um, whether it's the cold cases or things like that, you see it all the time. People try to solve, and decrypt like the Zodiac killer, like when it comes to the symbols. Now, bear in mind when Zodiac killer did those symbols, like it's no any symbols that like Egyptians, it's no hieroglyphics. It's in how the Zodiac killer would have, like, obviously his own language. Now, when I look at Zodiac killer, I'm fascinated with Zodiac killer because I just think you have wrote letters in your own language that you will get, and people are still to this day trying to solve what is said. Some of it has been solved, but I don't think it's one of those ones that I don't think will ever be solved, like fully. Um, Thanks very much, Robert. Julia Ann says I live where Scott Peterson and Lacey Peterson's case took place. Oh wow. Hiya, Greg. Same to you, honey. Same to you. Um, if I had, it's hard to pick out like one that I would say I'm really fascinated with because I'm fascinated with them all. When it comes to the mysterious disappearances, there's so many. There's so many out there that is really unsolved. I think the one that fascinates me the most is the one where the gentleman went into the nightclub. He was out and he was in a nightclub and he went in and the CCTV sees him going in, but like when obviously when he went missing, the CCTV showed didn't show him coming out. So that one fascinated me the most as well. But As I said, there's loads out there on true crime, and I want to make this show where people are interested, people come in, they like listening, they interact, because it's important as well, you guys are interacting with me and putting your CDs across. I want you to be my mini detectives. I want you to throw theories out at me. I love that. I love having that interaction of let's talk theories. Well, what do you think about that case? What's your thoughts on it as well? We can all sit and be Inspector Gadgets. That's what I say. Hey Nick, thanks for joining us, love. Robert says Tolkien wrote in his own language as well. Yeah, yeah, he certainly did that. And sometimes that's how things work. I mean, some people have, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's other serial killers. Bear in mind, there's a lot of cases. The problem is people are so fascinated with people like Ted Bundy, Jeff Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, but there's so many cases out there that people have never heard of, and I want to bring that aspect as well because too many people have heard of certain or the big name ones in the most respectful way, but they haven't really heard of other ones. Now, I've wrote, if you guys like reading, there is a guy named Jason Neal who wrote true crime books. He's got a whole series. I think there was something like 10 books. And honestly, I have not read for ages, like properly, like read a book for like one book to the end book. Since, believe it or not, Robert, you've brought it up, The Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings, I have not read a book properly since The Lord of the Rings, and I love the books. Um, and what Jason Neal did was he basically went out and properly researched cases, but it wasn't well known cases. It wasn't such cases like the ones that I've mentioned so far. It was like cases of, you know, cases that people have never really heard of. He did a lot of research. He put a lot of time into his books. And honestly, I highly recommend reading his books because it was so fascinating with some of the cases that he was coming away with that I thought, oh my god, I'd never heard of. And actually, when I did do my crime show, well, ages ago, Nick was part of it, Nick Millay. Um, I actually covered one case. I will actually cover the case again because it is really fascinating. And it was a gentleman who was inspired by Dexter. And what he did was he kidded on that he was a woman on a dating site, um, lured men there, and he tortured them. And I've got to say, I was mind blown by this man because I've never seen somebody who has been so honest in their description, how it made them feel, why they did it. And his excuse was basically that he enjoyed it. He enjoyed the whole no trying not to get caught, and the whole thrill of doing it. He described how scared he was at the beginning of doing what he did, but then he discovered, oh, this is the thrill of I know what I've done. I can go home at night and have a clear conscience, and I will be looking at that as well, guys. When I'm doing my shows, there will be a show where I look at, well, what makes somebody kill someone or kill multiple people and be able to go home and live a different life. I mean, you just have to look at John Wayne Gacy. You have to look at the BTK killer as well. He, thank God, I didn't see BLT because I did that in one show. That was hilarious. Um, you just have to look at they two. The John Wayne Gacy was shaking the hand of the first woman, the first lady. Sorry. There's a picture of that. He was doing charity work. He was he was living the life of Riley whilst doing what he was doing on the other side. BTK's was the same. He had a family. He was living a double life, and I just think, how can someone switch from being this gentle, up-rooming, upstanding community person, and then the next thing they're killing people? Like, I would love to understand that. I would love to sit down and think, oh my god, how are you doing this? How can you do this? So with things like that, I'll be looking at as well. Um, Also, there's the nature nurture debate. Now, I know it's the most talked about discussion is the nature nurture. Is it the fact that people are born evil, or is it the fact that it's how they're raised, it's the trauma they've had that's caused them to be like that? We will be looking at that debate as well, and I'll quite happily have that conversation with you guys on the nature nurture debate, because it's a really fascinating thing. I'll just get into comments. Smaller unknown cases, definitely, Robert, because then you covered as well. There are so many cases out there that most people don't know about. It's unreal. The thriller getting away with it, definitely, Robert, without a shadow of doubt. People are just problems sometimes with killers and murderers and things like that is they come too complacent. And they keep thinking, yeah, I'm so cocky, I'm not going to get caught, and in the end they do get caught. Um, Julianne says the psychology is wild. Joseph James D'Angelo was my boogeyman list for decades. Serial killer, rapist. Exactly. Robert says Gacy also worked with Anne Rule. She had a lot of crime books out too. That doesn't surprise me. Um, as it's really, as I said, I'm really fascinated, really fascinated with quite a lot of it. Really, there is some that I will find hard to cover, and out of respect, I won't cover. Um, but as I said, guys, any suggestions that you guys want to see, that would help me. Any cases that you'd like me to cover, any debates, anything, please get in touch with me. I don't bite. Sorry guys, I'm loaded with a cold. Please feel free to get in touch. Or even put the comments in the comments. Please put in what you would like to see. I'm very open minded that way. Um, but definitely, I will be joined next week by Neena Moody for the Royal Wolf Whisperers. Um, she will be coming in, and we will be talking about Richard Chase, the Vampire of Sacramento. There's another one as well. I'll be covering cannibals. That's another thing that I find a bit daunting. Is the whole cannibal. I couldn't do it personally. I'll even have like fun with it as well, guys. At the end of the day, it's one of those ones that it is going to be really good. Um, so as I was saying, guys, so yeah, at the end of January, for the first 5 weeks in January, um, I will be covering the craze. Um, right, shut the door over. Sorry guys, I do apologise. Um, so yeah, for the first 5 weeks at the end of January, it'll go into February. I'm going to be doing a mini series. Now I will be looking at doing different mini series, not just. It won't just be like doing like short series like one by one. I will be doing mini series as well. So for 5 weeks, I will be talking about the craze. The craze is local, well, UK gangsters. They were famous, most famous ones in London. So I'll be covering them for 5 weeks. I'll be looking at obviously the beginning, from when they were born right up until when they got caught. So it'll be doing the rise and the fall of the craze. And I'm reckoning May time next year also I'll be doing Al Capone. Because it was actually Nick that inspired me. Nick said obviously about doing looking at American ones as well. So do the UK and then do American. So it will be a jam packed show. Ooh, let's make sure. Julianne, I can't imagine. No, but then here's the thing. People say, like, if you're in situations such as plane crashes, right, and say people survive. But I'll tell you what, look at the film Alive, right? So for people that haven't seen the film Alive, it's about a plane crash and there's survivors. And for them to survive, they end up eating the dead people that are already dead. Quite personally, uh, it's a hard one because it's kind of one of those ones of you need to do what you need to do to survive. Sorry, folks, that was my phone. So you need to do what you need to do to keep alive, right? Quite personally, I wouldn't do it. But if I had to do what I had to do to survive, I suppose so. Um, Sounds like a really great show. Can't wait to watch. Yeah, Julianne, I'll try and do my best by it. I'll try and do my best by it. I definitely am excited about it, and I'm a lot more confident in doing podcasts myself. So yeah, I will make it fun. Again, Julianne, if there's anything you want to see, please definitely let us know. Also, guys, what I will be doing with the show as well is I will be looking at films, certain films like the Saw franchise. I'll be looking at that from a criminal point of view, but a psychological point of view. I'll also be looking at the Purge. So the Purge as well, I'll be looking at that and as a point of view of, for example, Saw, John Kramer, looking at him, looking at the fact of, you know, it wasn't really John Kramer that killed them. It was the fact that they'd done it themselves and they had the choice, sort of thing. So looking at like the Saw for that point of view, um, looking at the Purge, would it, from a criminal point of view, would the Purge actually work if it had to happen in real life? Would it bring the crime rates down? Would it make the crime rates go sky high? When you look at the Purge, you look at the different films, right? For the first to the last one. The first one shows you the Purge itself, and then it goes into like someone trying to stop and intervene during the Purge, like to make it stop. Then it looks at the aspect of, well, if you let the Purge go, right, and make everybody feel better, but then you're trying to stop the purge from happening. to the point of where people actually know what you're saying and then know trying to stop the purge and they start purging and they go over the hours. Bearing in mind that they get 12 hours to purge. Now, people were in one of the films, I think it was one of the last films, they were taking it to the extreme of they were purging outside of it. So it's basically looking at that, guys. And there is other films I will be looking at as well from a criminal point of view. So if there's any films also you'd like to see, um, from a criminal point of view, please by all means, get in touch as well because there is a lot out there. There's also a lot of killers who've inspired, um, films like Ed Gein. Now, Ed Gein, I'm fascinated with. I wouldn't really class Ed Gein as a serial killer. If you really look at what he's done, now there's a lot of crime people who've committed crimes that are considered serial killers. But if you really looked at what they've done, then you wouldn't class them really as a serial killer. People like Charles Manson. Now, I'm fascinated in Charles Manson and the fact that really, in essence, you wouldn't really class him as a serial killer. This is just my opinion, guys. You may have an entirely different opinion from me, and that's absolutely fine. Um, because of obviously what he's done, it's mind control with Charles Manson. So things like that, guys. So yeah, I'm going to be covering a variety as well, definitely, and some of the disappearances as well. I'll be talking about, and it won't be just in one place. It'll be around the world. I'll be looking at. I will look at all like parts of the world. Um, I will be joined by a few people. Definitely. Stockholm syndrome cases would be a good topic. I will note that down, Julianne. Definitely, I will note that down. If there's any cases at all, guys, please throw them out there. I will include them in the show definitely. Because as I said, that what you guys want to see, I'll give you. Um, and as I said, I will deal with them with the greatest of respect. I'll even be looking at child killers, because there is a lot of cases out there, child killers that I'm fascinated with. Now, the one that I'm most fascinated with is um, Paris Bennett. Um, I discovered Paris Bennett when I watched Piers Morgan. For anybody who doesn't know who Piers Morgan is, Piers Morgan is a presenter from the UK. He's a chat show host. He's very, what's the word? He's very, very controversial because Piers Morgan sees it as he says it as he sees it, sorry. So he is very controversial. He is very much, mm, he will not hold back. And what Piers Morgan did was he went over to America and he interviewed people on death row. He's interviewed all different criminals. But how I discovered Paris Bennett was through Piers Morgan because Piers Morgan interviewed Paris Bennett's mum and Paris Bennett himself. And I just, I was so shocked by how, what's the word? How calm Bennett, Paris Bennett was, and how when I looked at his eyes, I thought that's a very, very dark place that boy has. for people who don't know who Paris Bennett is, Paris Bennett was a child killer who convinced his babysitter to go home. He was very, very clever, very high IQ, and he convinced his babysitter to go home. There was him and his little sister. He murdered his sister. He sexually assaulted his sister. Um, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Now, his mother, people, I kind of get it from a mum's point of view. You're kind of stuck in a hard rock in a place, and his mother has forgiven Paris for what he's done. Now, I know that will shock a lot of people, and people will be thinking, how can the mother forgive, blah, blah, blah. It does take a lot for a person to forgive somebody for what they've done, especially when it's something as serious as what Paris Bennett did to his sister. Um, the way that she sees it is it's still her child and she will still love her child regardless. She even went on to have another child, and she lets the younger child have contact with Paris Bennett through phone. Now, this woman has been offered police protection, everything, a new life, a new identity, etc. And she's refused it. She has refused it because she wants to stand by Paris. Now, I will be covering that case as well because I think it's one of those ones, child killer wise, I want to cover. But also looking at the aspect of, as a parent, how you could forgive. Again, if I suppose if I was in that situation, I personally wouldn't know what to do because when we have children and we are parents, it's a real tough one. And a lot of people, and you see it all the time, you see it all the time in the news when there's a crime and it involves a child and children, a lot of parents and a lot of people say when parents stand by their child, they're just as bad as their child for standing by them. But then there's other people that support that kind of say, you know what, it's their child at the end of the day, they still love them regardless. So that will be. I'd love to hear your opinions definitely when it comes to that because, I, as I said, I'm interested in what people say and think and as humanity. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what I will be covering. And I hope you tune in, guys. Um, so that as well. Try to think, is there anything else really? That I really need to tell you. Not really, I think I've covered pretty much what this show is going to be about. Definitely it will be controversial, but in a good in the most respectful way, because there will be a lot of cases that I will cover that will maybe upsetting, that are going to be things that do come out, that will be upsetting. But as I said, guys, I will make it the most respectful. To tell you a bit about myself, I've I've done podcasting now for 4 years. I have got two other shows. The Mystical Carousel show, which is on a Thursday night at 9 p.m. UK time. And I do Fools and Ghouls on a Friday at 8 p.m. UK time. So this is not my first podcast. So this is my first podcast solo because I've never did it myself. I've always had people with me. So this is my first podcast myself. And I think for 35 minutes I've done really well by myself. So yeah, guys. What I will say is upcoming I am doing a crossover with one of my shows. Because we will be covering the axe murderers in Willow. So it will be really, really good. So I will be doing a crossover with the crime show that week. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Guys, if you've got any questions that you would like to fire at me, please do. I'll answer it the best way that I can. If you want my thoughts in any cases, please by all means ask me. Um, this, thanks very much, Julianne. Thank you. I will try and make it really exciting. Um, I'm really down to earth. When it comes to podcasts, I'm for my viewers, definitely. Because without you guys, we wouldn't have these shows. So I am totally for you guys without a shadow of a doubt. So please check out the other shows as well. Um, and as I said, I will be trying to do slideshows as well. To go with the crime show. So the craze will definitely, when I'm doing my mini series, they'll definitely have slideshows that I want to show, like pictures and there will be pictures, guys. I will tell you that from the outset. There will be pictures that you might find upsetting. I'm just going to have to find pictures that go with YouTube algorithm. That's the only issue that I may have, and Facebook as well, because they might put a kick to me for showing pictures. So um I will be doing slideshows. Hey Tom, welcome to the show, love. Um, so I will have slideshows, and I will have pictures. I will be showing pictures of crime scenes, pictures of um where it happened, pictures of the people. So I definitely I'll have all that. I just need to get shown by Nick because Nick is my tech man. He does everything for me tech wise. I am shocking at things like that. So I'll need to get a IT lesson from Nick. And he'll probably laugh at me while I'm trying to do it. But I definitely will be showing pictures and I definitely will be doing many shows. It will be every Sunday, guys, 6 a.m. UK time. Um, so that's how basically that's what the shows will be all about. I will be sharing it everywhere. You will find me in multiple platforms. You'll find me on Things Network, BB3 TV, Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment, Ghost God Scotland. You'll find me on YouTube, Twitch, Link. Um, so yeah, guys, that's basically where I'm at. So how is everybody for their Sunday? What are you all doing for your Sunday? I know you are in different parts of the world and it's different times, so it might not even be Sunday for you guys yet. Um, so if you had a good Saturday, I know that sounds backwards. I'm asking if you're having a good Saturday. I am having a quiet day today, guys. That's what I'll be doing. Um, and I'll be quite proud of myself by the time this finishes because this is, as I said, guys, this is my first one myself. So that's how I'm kind of breaking myself in and having a general chat with you guys and just telling you about the show. Again, I am really sorry about the change. But as I said, still just be a good opportunity just to explain the show, guys, and what I'll be looking at. There will be um a lot. There will be like a lot of things I'll be discussing. So yeah, that's where we're at, guys. Um, please tell your friends. Tell your friends who are fascinated with crime to come and check it out. Um, I'll, as I said, it will be out there. For anybody who enjoys crime. And we can all have good discussions and good debates. Obviously, the debates will be respectable. Um, so if you guys have got any questions, please file. If you want to pick my brains, I'll pick your brains. You'll pick mine. But yeah, and even I'll tell you what even film that I will be looking at when I discuss this certain person will be Ted Bundy. When I'm looking at Ted Bundy, I will be talking about the film that was made about Ted Bundy, um, who was played by Zac Efron. Now, I'm not really a big fan of Zac Efron. I don't really like him, I'll be honest. I don't like his movies, but my god, he blew my mind when he played Ted Bundy. Even Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory, who was the lawyer who done him, um, I was even mind blown by him. I was like, holy god, I would have never ever thought he would have pulled it off either, but there you go. It was a really good film. And Ted Bundy fascinates me how charming and convincing that he was. That really does fascinate me. Tom says true crime is fascinating. Oh, Tom, you've no idea. It really is. It's so fascinating, especially when I don't know if anybody's ever did this, right, guys, right? But have you ever watched a crime show or a film and you've sat there and you've basically like the detective and you're like, he done it or she done it or they done it, and it's you've been right at the end, you've been like, yes, I knew they did it. Or you've sat and watched a crime show or a film and you're thinking the person that's getting done for the crime is actually innocent. Um, and you're like, nope, they didn't do it. They're innocent, and it turns out they really are innocent. And I'll be looking at that aspect as well, guys. It's not just about people who've done crimes, it's about also people who have done been no, been accused of crimes and it turns out that they didn't actually do it and that they've been found many years down the line, maybe 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 years um, down the line, and they've been found not to be guilty and they've been cleared. And I think that's another aspect as well that I'll be looking at when it comes to because one of the subjects I will be speaking about that's a very big one, and that is death penalty. Talking about the death penalty, is it right to get the death penalty in some cases? What about the aspect of death row? You're putting somebody in death row, or that person has had the death penalty and has died, God forbid, and that person is innocent. Is that right? Or should that be classed as murder as well? It's things like that I'll be looking at and I'll be challenging because there is a lot of people in the statistics that have been accused of a lot of crimes and it turns out they haven't been and they haven't done it. They haven't even been near. Um, there's a case in Scotland. Um, It was in the 90s, was it the 80s or the 90s in Glasgow, where it was an ice cream war, and basically a family got petrol bombed, and two people were accused of the crime. They spent 20 odd years in the jail, and it turned out they didn't even do it, and they spent all that time in jail. And I just think, oh my god, like that's a waste of somebody's life. When somebody gets accused of that, it doesn't matter whether it's rape, it doesn't matter whether it's murder, it doesn't matter what it is, and they turn out to be innocent. That tars that person for life. They'll always be known when people associate, they're going to associate, or that person killed, or that person was raped, it was accused of rape. And people always get tarred with that as soon. So looking at things like that as well, guys, at that aspect, it's not only just about the aspect of people doing crimes, there's also people innocent of crimes. So it's looking at that as well, guys. Um, because as Tom says, it is all fascinating. It is all fascinating. I've been really, really fascinated with this, and I'm so happy to be doing this podcast of looking at this stuff. But as I said, guys, please, 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 by all means, give me your theories. I mean, what is your theories on people that are innocent but are put behind bars? Um, what is your opinions? Please share them. Um, as I said, if there's anything you want to pick my brains about, feel free. I have no issues. Before we wrap up as well, guys, what I will say is Thursday coming on the Mystical Carousel show, guys, we will have, now this is a big one for the show, absolutely big one, is John Ashura. John Ashura is an actor and he's a kung fu um, master. So I'm so psyched to have this guy coming onto my show. He's so lovely, so down to earth. He will be promoting his film The Bouncer. He is in it with Detective Hoffman from Saw, who's played by Costa. I can't even pronounce his second name. That's terrible. So he will be coming on to the show Thursday. That'll be 9 p.m. UK time. On Friday, on Fools and Ghouls, we will be talking about poltergeists. That will be an interesting one as well. That'll be 8 p.m. UK time. Next Sunday at 6 a.m. UK time. I will be joined by Neena Moody, to talk about Richard Chase, the Vampire of Sacramento. So definitely we'll be talking about it next week, guys. But I just want to thank everyone who has come in and said hi and made my first show possible. I hope I've not bored you too much to tears. But yeah, guys, it's been really, really good. Just to obviously do what I'm passionate about as well. And especially about a subject that I'm so passionate about. I will get excited. I know it will be terrible looking that I'm getting excited about when I'm talking about crime. But I'm fascinated and I'm passionate, and when I'm passionate, I get excited. Um, Again, I will treat everything with the most utmost respect. I will always start my show, guys, by saying that there is a very strong viewers discretion advised, as the show will be very graphical and people might find it really upsetting. So I will always start my shows like that. Oh, to cover myself, obviously, and to protect me from, you know, getting reported with YouTube and Facebook, and because you know what they're like, guys. You can't talk about anything, and they just end up going for you. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Please let me know what you think. Um, because yous are the main ones. As well, guys. But yeah, so as I said, they just keep tuning in. And definitely I will be doing a lot of research as well, to bring you the content. Um, so that's that's my plans. I'll be really researching and obviously bringing you content, making you happy. Um, you're very welcome, Julianne. You're very welcome. Um, as I said, Julianne, this is for you guys, and I'm really passionate about it. So it's great to have people who are on the same level as myself, when it comes to crime. Don't be scared to give your opinions or your thoughts, um, even if you disagree with what I'm saying. I would love to hear it, guys. I'm quite open to all that, so don't worry about that whatsoever. Um, but yeah, oh, I feel better knowing that I can do it myself. And I'm sure my team will be proud of me. Um, but yeah, guys, so I am going to sign off now. And yous all have a great day. And tune in next week, guys, as we will be joined by Neena Moody. And yous guys have a happy Sunday. Wherever you are in the world, good night, good morning, good evening, and I hope you all have a good day. Um, thanks very much, sweetheart. The same to you. And I hope everybody has a good day, everyone. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye. 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 Bye.